A very good evening, guys. Welcome to my blog this evening here on Facebook and on YouTube. Graham, Techno Wizard, as always, coming to you live from Durban tonight. Making headlines, SAA has grounded a few of its flights, local and abroad, and the shortage of fresh drinking water in QwaQwa is dire. The taps have run dry, the water tankers are empty, and by 2025, it's estimated that over 2 billion people could be without this precious commodity, water.
Water is our most valuable resource, but over 1 billion people currently lack access to clean sources of it, and our demand is growing every year. If we don't act now, the consequences could be catastrophic. By 2025, over 2 billion people could be facing severe water shortages. It's not that there isn't enough water on Earth. Over 2/3 is covered by ocean. But if we look at all the water on the planet, only around 3% is freshwater. At least 90% of that water is used for agriculture. The rest is for industrial use or for drinking. So if we're going to avoid running out of water, here's a few things that we can do. We can conserve water by using more efficient appliances and by managing our daily usage better. But also, we need to fundamentally rethink agriculture by growing crops that use less water, by cutting down on livestock farming, and by using techniques like drip irrigation to maximize efficiency. Another option is that we can conserve new sources of groundwater. Deep underground, often far from lakes or rivers, there are vast reserves of water. But overuse can cause them to run dry. They can be a vital resource for many people. New, often large sources have been found in Africa and elsewhere, but drilling can be costly and inefficient. It can also harm the environment, and the drilling process uses lots of energy. However, responsible exploration and management could help solve water scarcity. Protecting our rivers and lakes from industrial contamination is also a huge challenge, as is making sure water diversion projects, like dams, don't destroy large sources of freshwater, as we've seen in places like the Aral Sea. Water recycling or reclamation can also greatly increase water efficiency by using treated wastewater for farming, industry, and to replenish groundwater. It can also help protect natural systems of sensitive freshwater. But what about all that seawater? About 97% of all the water on Earth. Surely that's a resource we should be taking advantage of. Desalination involves removing salts and minerals from ocean water. It's not as easy as it might sound. It's both very expensive and requires a great deal of energy. But investment in more efficient methods of desalination is being carried out, and its global use has greatly increased. Many national or local governments are already using or exploring these options because of a growing human population. But it's clear that if we don't manage our precious water resources more wisely, the consequences could be very serious.
Well, guys, here's a good way to start. A water tank in your back garden. All right, I'm excluding the guys who have flats. Okay. But you guys who own houses and homes, it's a good way to start conserving water. I mean, an average rainstorm of 20 minutes or so can accumulate around about 4,000 or 5,000 liters of water. And, you can use that water to top up your pool. It's fresh water. I know I had a neighbor who stayed here a good couple of years ago, and when I told her that the swimming pool was basically rainwater, she kind of said to me, "Ew, how can you swim in rainwater?" And I looked at her and I thought, where's this woman? Where's she from? What planet does she come from? I mean, a lot of us complain when it rains and, looking for umbrellas and raincoats. Okay, obviously, on your way to work. But it's a very, very precious commodity. And without water, you're pretty much screwed. We can live without electricity, but we cannot live without water. So, guys, it's a good idea to investigate water harvesting. I know that Frank up at the Tropical Nursery this weekend is going to be hosting some guests that are going to be doing a talk on water harvesting. So I'm glad that people are beginning to wake up and realize, especially in our country, how many things we are short of. Electricity for one, water for another. In the Cape, it is absolutely dire that they start harvesting water and looking after that water. So, guys, just as I say, other side, get yourself a water tank. It will make the difference. My guest speaker tonight is Heather Rorick, who is the chairlady of the Ambilo Executive Community Policing Forum and also the chairlady of the Bulwer Safety and Urban Regeneration Forum group. Heather, tell the folk out there who are listening what your job entails.
Our groups have been going for the Bulwer Safety Forum for over 10 years now. The work we do is widely, it's based on community work. We fight for the residents. And then obviously the Community Police Forum, we work very closely with Ambilo Police. And we look to improve the communication between the residents and the police, and to make sure that the police are doing what they need to do. In all this community work, I realize there's a lot of things that we can use our WhatsApp and our Facebook to help the residents with. So we have a few WhatsApp groups that are going, as well as the Ambilo Community Police Forum Facebook page and the Bulwer Safety and Urban Regeneration Facebook page. On WhatsApp, I have started all different groups to help people, because what happens if you have one group that is trying to sort out power and water outages and then lost animals, and then a crime alert comes through and it's lost amongst all this. So often when somebody's lights have gone out, for instance, they trying to keep updated on possibly when the lights will come out or back on, or what the fault is, etc. And at that stage, they're not interested in hearing what anybody else has to say on other issues. So I have started the different WhatsApp groups to help the residents. For instance, we have our Crime Alerts Only group, which is a group that is for crime alerts within our immediate area. That is not what we have is just crime alerts. People are not allowed to chat on that group. They are not allowed to post photos. Just basically, it's you post your crime alert and that is it. The members that are on that group are quite strict on if somebody posts something where they're chatting, the members will then complain and say it's only a crime alerts group only, please no chatting. So then I decided, no, we need another group, because people often like to chat or ask questions or just chat in general about community issues. So the group, the general group, as we call it, was formed and has become a very, very popular but very busy group. That group is where we discuss community issues, we advertise meetings that are coming up, we chat about crime in general. So if an alert is posted on the alert group and people want to ask questions or find out more about that specific crime, they then go to the general group. So that is why I say our general group is very popular. We also have security companies that do monitor the group. So yeah, just a very, very good all-round group that helps a lot, because I say there's a lot of different issues that are discussed. It's not just crime. There's other issues in the community that is being discussed. And then we also have our support local businesses and service group. So what we do, we promote any business or services that are within our own community. And this is to help especially the little businesses that are within our community. We encourage people to use these businesses. So we have our local restaurants, we have like electricians, we have plumbers, we have all different sort of services that you would require, and that is recommended. People have used it. They security issues, they're safe. People have used them, so they tried and tested. And normally they know them because they're in our community. These are our community people. We also have a group called Recommended Services. This is where people have had exceptional services or business with the company, but the company is not within our community. So people want to promote the business, it's not in our community, that goes under the recommended business. But we do state to people, first try our support local business. Then we have our Lost and Found group, our Lost and Found Pets group. So obviously that is for any animals that are lost and found within our own community. We found that we'd rather stick it to our community because otherwise you are inundated with posts of lost and found animals across Durban, and it becomes too much. So to support our own community, we have this group where if anybody sees a dog wandering in the road, they post on that group. Anybody that's lost an animal then looks on the group and they can see. So we have that. If if these homes wanted for animals, we post it on there. So that's the group, so it keeps it separate from our other groups. We also have our buy and sell group, which again is for people in our community. So we encourage buying and selling, and also it's safe because you're working within the people in the community. Also our recommended services, and that is also if you need a maid, you can ask on there, you're going to get a recommended maid. It's just to help each other, to keep each other safe. So these are recommended services. But we do ask people to double check if they're selling something, who they sell it to, that they get their money and they do all the transactions properly. The same as if you buy something, make sure that you're dealing with the right person, whatever, because that is all up to you when you're doing your own transactions. And the same, obviously, services, double check your services. It goes to say, even though it's recommended, do your own homework. Don't just rely on the word of people, although it's a good recommendation, but do your own investigation into it as well. So we have separated these groups just to help people, and in order to keep the different communications, because often people can select which groups they want to be on in that way. We have some people that are on all groups, we have some that are on selected groups, and then we also have a support women's group. This group is basically for any women that are having problems or would need to talk to somebody. There's a lot of women that are in the same sort of boat that are on this group. It's a fairly new group, so it's not a very busy group as that. And we're planning a get-together next month, which will be very good. So we will have all the ladies get together, and it's like a support group. For anybody that's gone through domestic violence, rape, or any trauma, and they just feel that they need to be amongst people that have gone through the same. We have mostly got women on the group at the moment. We haven't extended it to the men, obviously because we only at this stage have women counselors that can help. But yeah, so it's just looking at all these different things that we can offer to the community. I'm always looking for different ways that we can better our community, better our area, better our communication, because communication is the big key element in anything. If residents are communicating with each other, they can keep each other safe. If we're communicating with each other, we are a community working together. And until we as a community stand up and work together, then we're never going to get anywhere. People don't have to like each other, but you got to work together if you want to achieve anything in life. It's no good all pulling in different directions just because we don't like each other or we want to spite each other. It doesn't work like that. So we're hoping this year that we also have meetings once a month as the Bulwer Safety Forum. We have it on the second Tuesday of each month. We held these meetings for you, the residents in this community, to come forward with any complaints, concerns, suggestions, wanting to get involved. You can come to these meetings, you can raise these issues, but we also look for people to come with suggestions, to come with ideas of ways to better our community, not just complain. Often, it's easier to complain than to come up with a suggestion. But if we all put our heads together and we work together, we can come and overcome a lot of obstacles that are in our community. We're also wanting to start up patrols in the sort of Bulwer area. When I say that area, I say from Alan Payton to Berea Road, from Ridge Road to Umbila Road. We desperately needing residents to come forward and volunteer to do some community patrols, especially if you have a vehicle and you can possibly spare, say, an hour once a week or so. And the more residents we get, then the less people would have to actually volunteer in a week. It might be twice a month that you would have to volunteer if we got more people. Men and women are welcome to patrol. At the moment, we had a patrol team of about 4 women and 1 vehicle, so it wasn't working. We went down from a 35 strong patrol team to 4 people. Now, we're the only area at the moment that does not have a community patrol team. So I'm desperately looking to get a patrol team for this area that I mentioned, Alan Payton to Berea Road and Ridge to Umbila Road. In that area, in that sort of block, get a patrol going. So please, people, if you are willing, you have to be 18 and up. If you are willing to please assist us in any way, especially with vehicle patrols, please let me know. These patrols do help. We don't ask you to put yourself in any danger. All we do is ask you to be the eyes and the ears and to work with Umbila, SAPS and all the security companies. Thank you, Graham, for just letting me explain all the different things we have in our community and where the residents can get involved. And just as a community, let's all stand together and just do our little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Graham. Thank you, everyone.
You know, Heather and I were up until around about midnight last night, WhatsApping each other and voice messaging each other, kind of coming up with ideas of how communities can get involved with the police, with their private security companies, instead of people all phoning Heather. I mean, I've known Heather for quite some time. I actually met Heather through my ex-wife, and she's a super lady, and she works so hard to help you guys. I don't think you guys realize how hard she works and how many hours she puts in to looking after you guys. And, I think what she said now about getting more and more people involved makes a lot of sense. I was coming up with some ideas. Now, I was telling you about this FM radio transmitter that I ordered from overseas. Well, guys, it's arrived. I haven't hooked it up yet. But my aim, apart from YouTube and Facebook, is to get a community radio station running in this town, in Durban. I know I'm going to be up against guys like Ikasa, Jay, who works for them, and they're going to want money from me. They're going to want licenses and all the bullshit that goes with it. The difference being that I'm not going to be running through their transmitters. I'm a standalone radio station. Call it a pirate radio station? Yes. But I look at the benefits of how it can benefit the community. And if everybody kind of backs me on this and thinks, hey, this is a great idea, we can kind of keep in touch with what's going on as far as Community Watch is concerned, about what's going on around our town, especially Durban Central, letting people know about what's going on with Eskom, the power outages. I do a lot of research. I spend a lot of time in the evening kind of researching stuff before I come on and do the show. And it's time that I can ill afford, but I do it because for the love of radio and for the love of talking to people and being a people's person. Some other ideas I came up with as well was to get people to voice message me. Now, I'm going to give out my WhatsApp number this evening, and I'm asking you guys to send me voice messages that pertain to the show that we're doing that day. In other words, if we're talking about crime in the area today, send me some voice messages so that I can then air them live when we do the show, like we do every evening on YouTube, Facebook, and when I do get up and running on the FM band, hopefully it will happen and I will get the thumbs up. It'll be great. Get the police who are involved with Heather. I know there's Martin out there who's with Metro Police. There's Nico out there who's a great guy, Metro Police. Get private security companies to WhatsApp me voice messages and kind of keep us up to date as to what is going on around our town. Now, talking about, this show is all about Heather tonight, really, because she's doing a brilliant job and she doesn't get the recognition that I think she deserves. And this is something which I wasn't going to air tonight. It was a kind of personal thing that Heather was telling me about, and I thought it was so compelling. I listened to it, and I thought, I've got to play this, guys, for you, because the motivation and the energy that Heather has got stems back to when she was a kid. So, guys, take a listen to this and weep.
Graham, just to update on my...
That actually wasn't the clip I was looking for. Let's see. Here we go. This is the one. Take a listen, guys.
Graham, a funny story. Obviously, I was a lot lamaki, so I'm a lot younger than my sisters. So my older sister's now husband, when I was younger, he was obviously a young man, very good-looking young man, and he was in the police force. So he used to look so good in his uniform, and obviously at that stage I was about 5 or 6. Anyway, as I grew up, and even when I got to like high school and that, I was very interested in joining the police force. I really wanted to go do that work. And of course, back then, it wasn't really good for a woman to go be a policewoman. And my mother nearly had a heart attack. She said to me, no, you can't go do that work. It's not good for a woman to go do that. Anyway, so I was, persuaded not to go follow that career route. But I think I would have made a good policewoman because my interest has always been in that, and I perceive things and I look at ways to keep people safe, and I look at the crime trends and I look at the way criminals would look at things. I'm always analysing things. And this is when I was doing counselling. And I was really enjoying the counselling, but obviously I was there for 3.5 years at the Victim Support Centre at Umbela Police Station. I learned a lot, and I worked with horrific cases, a lot of rape cases, human trafficking case, sexually assaulted children and everything, which eventually gets to you. And I was very fortunate to have one victim come, and at the police station, Michelle Murphy and myself, we had this, what we called the buddy system. And we believed when a victim comes in, often they don't feel like speaking to the police. They're ashamed, they're angry, they hurt, and they often feel that the police and the justice system has failed them. They just feel like that because they're now a victim and they weren't protected. So they don't often feel like speaking to a police person. So when we were at the Victim Support Centre, we had this buddy system that when the victim came in and they opened up to you, we would then buddy with them. We would stay with them through the process of them sitting with the police officer, opening up their cases, and then we would go with them to the district surgeon, and we would go with them if they needed to go to court, and we would just buddy this victim until they were through the process and they felt strong enough to go on. This, even if it took days, weeks, months, we were buddy with this victim. And we grew a lot of very good friendships with the ladies. And the one lady that was a rape victim, we went to the district surgeon, and she didn't have family here to meet her or whatever. So her and I formed quite a strong bond on the night that she was raped. And when we went into the district surgeon, she actually requested to the district surgeon if I could stay with her while she got examined. Obviously, she did ask me if I minded, and the district surgeon asked me. She was so scared. She asked me, please hold her hand. She was shaking. And I said, okay, no, I'll stay with her. So I got Graham the opportunity to see the process of what these ladies have to go through after the rape, what they have to go through in the examination, and the second trauma of that rape that they have to go through, the humiliation that they've got to go through for these examinations. I mean, it's needed, it's got to be done, but it is not a pleasant examination. So I stood through this examination, and it was such a great district surgeon that he actually explained step by step what he was doing, why he was doing it, why it was needed. And it was such a good learning experience for me, which helped me, with rape victims thereafter when I was counselling them. But then as time goes on, like I said to you, Graham, it wears you down when you're doing counselling. And then I found that I was getting more angry at criminals, and I would be more worried about what the criminal was doing and why he did it and whatever. So now I do very seldom do counselling. I do it if it's needed. I do it if a victim needs it. But I find I'm better at looking at crime issues and looking at safe ways and things like that. So people always say to me, Heather, we hear so much of Heather, but people don't understand, Graham. It's been a long road for me in community work, and especially working with the police. I mean, my work as a police started when my second eldest daughter was 9 years old, and she's 35 now. So it's a long time, long time. I mean, I've watched the different station commanders come and go at Umbilo Police Station. I've worked with a lot of police members. Some have known me so long. Ralph, that's just gone on retirement, him and I worked together for many years. I've sat on the CPF, gone off the CPF, and so just showed you. But I think I would have made quite a good policewoman, possibly gone on to a detective if my mom hadn't stopped me. But I most certainly wouldn't have liked to have done it today, because I've witnessed a policewoman being punched full on in her face, full force by a drunk criminal. And people don't realize our police don't go through nice things either. At the moment, because of the shortage at the mortuary and there's no drivers, they dismissed all the drivers through quickery and whatever next. So our police men and women are having to go drive the mortuary vehicles and go pick up the bodies, even those that have been shot in that. So they've got to go pick them up, pick up all the body parts, etc. And this is playing havoc on them, because it's sad. I mean, sometimes they have to go and pick up parts and pick up a body of somebody that was a police member, and they've seen this. So the mental strain that our policemen or women are going through at Umbilo Police, people don't understand that. They don't realize that Umbilo is short-staffed. Our police station has shrunk compared to the amount of people that we have in our community. If you look at all these student rates that are going up with 30 to 40 or 15 or how many they build. I mean, I went to look at one in Nicholson Road that's going to house about 20 plus students. That's in one house. So our community has, I won't even say tripled, it's just outgrown our police station by far. So people don't realize the problems that the police are dealing with. And the morale, that there are so many crooked cops, so the good cops are always overshadowed by the bad cops, because people are always harping on, oh, this crooked cop and that cop and this bad cop. And you hardly hear praise for the good cops. I mean, when Colonel Roma did good the other day, I had some people saying, oh, but he's a station commander, he should have done that. No, praise him. I mean, he could have phoned for a junior officer to come and stand with that lady that fell and him go back to his office. He didn't have to stand with her, but he stood with her and he waited for her family member and he was concerned about her. So at least acknowledge it, even if it should be his duty. Acknowledge it, make him feel good, make them want to do that, instead of just overlooking what the good are doing and just concentrate on what the bad are doing. So yeah, Graham, there's a lot to talk about on crime and crime issues and, people's attitudes and just the way we can improve our lives, but just our change of attitude.
Heather, what you said was so true and to the point. People like recognition, be it a technician, be it myself, when I do a good job of work on someone's equipment, to get a pat on the back and say, well done, Graham, a job well done. And it's so good when I get a telephone call back from a client saying, this amplifier has never sounded so good. And it goes to the police force out there as well. There's a lot of crooked guys out there. We know that. There's also a lot of good guys out there too. I'll do that again. There's a lot of bad guys out there. We know that. But there's a lot of good policemen out there who often get killed in the line of duty, looking after guys like you and I. Do we give them the recognition that they deserve? A lot of the time, no. As Heather said, that station commander, did he get a pat on the back for having to go out and do what he did? No. These guys go home. A lot of guys, when guys were coming back from Vietnam, most of them suffered for the rest of their lives, just kind of thinking back on the trauma and the killing and the hatred that they lived through in that war, the Vietnam War. The same as with our police force. A lot of guys, once they've left, they either leave because they can't handle it anymore, or they've just had enough. They are gutful, because all you see is death and destruction. So Heather, yeah, you're very, very right and I'm glad that I aired this now. This was a personal kind of thing to me, talking to me last night about where you're at, and I can hear you're a tired woman who does so much for the community, and do you get that kind of recognition that you deserve to get? No. So yeah, big up, Heather. I think you're doing a fine job of work. We've got one more voice clip to play for you guys. She just wanted to mention about the meetings that they do, that they hold. So I'll do that in a minute. In the meantime, guys, I tell you what, you guys go and get a pen and paper, okay? Because this is relevant information. I'm going to play this voice clip now, also from Heather, explaining about the community meetings that they have, who is involved. So guys, go and get a pen and paper. You need to take some telephone numbers down right after this.
Graham, just to update on my note where I said about our meetings, that is every second Tuesday of the month. I just need to add that the time of our meetings is 6:30 p.m. The venue of our meetings is at the Glenworth Community Church Hall, which is on the corner of Clark and Bulwer Road. It's directly opposite the entrance of where they've built that big new substation. So where the entrance of that big new substation is, directly opposite is the entrance to the church hall. So you can't miss it. Also, I needed to add that at these monthly meetings, we have representatives from Metro Police and Umbilo SAPS, as well as our ward councillor Mbata Ntembe at these meetings. We invite them to the meetings so that they are there. They're there to answer any questions, any queries that people bring, any concerns that people want to raise with them. They are there on the night for people to engage with directly, rather than sit on Facebook or WhatsApp and post all these concerns and their gripes or moans and nobody answers them, because the SAPS and Metro members are not allowed to answer on those groups. Whereas if you come to the meeting face to face, you're engaging with a representative from SAPS, Metro and the ward councillor. So you will achieve more by coming to these meetings and raising the issues with them. And this is what these meetings are for, than just sitting and griping and moaning on Facebook or WhatsApp where your concerns are going nowhere. We also at these meetings have our secretary that minutes all what's going on at our meeting, all that's said. And at the end of our meetings, we go the next day, the minutes are typed up, and we look at all those concerns that are raised in that meeting. And as the CPF, as the Bulwer Safety Forum, as the ward councillor, as Metro Police, as SAPS, we look at all these issues and we work on these issues. Yes, some might be quick, some might be long-term issues that we have to work on, but it gives us a stepping stone and a platform to start the process of looking at working on those issues, put it that way. So people mustn't think that when they come to these meetings and they raise a concern, it's not going anywhere. Of course it's going somewhere, it's minuted. We're going to work on it. And sometimes we have follow-ups. If there's like an answer or something's happened, there's an update, we update the people at the next meeting. So there's always something of value at these meetings. We also, like I say, we have tea and coffee after the meetings as well. And that's also where people then get to talk in general about things happening. And often somebody's too shy to go and raise it in front of everybody, and they'll quickly go have a quiet chat to the Metro member or the SAPS member or whatever. But we encourage people to talk up at the meetings, because often something somebody raises, somebody else might have the same concern, and it helps to talk about something that's a bigger issue in the community. Where one person will think it's only them. There might be more than one person that's got the same concern. So we encourage dialogue, and we encourage people to talk and to get to know what's going on in the community and to work together. So that's basically the gist of our meetings. So, Graham, this is why I beg people to come to these meetings, because you'll walk away with something from that meeting that is going to help you and possibly save you or your family if anything happens. And a lot of our regulars, if you speak to them, they'll tell you that over the years what they've taken out of our meetings has helped them a lot. Very knowledgeable, because also SAPS will discuss about crime in the area. They'll give safety tips and that. And then sometimes you'll have a resident stand up and discuss what they've done to stay safe, or what they've had happen, or what they've experienced. And it's good to listen to all of this. So thanks, Graham, for raising this issue and just getting this message out to the people. And I'm just hoping that at our next meeting, we will see a lot more new faces, and we will, definitely have a good turnout. So our next meeting, Graham, will be in February. The second Tuesday in February will be the 11th of February. Tuesday, the 11th of February, will be our first meeting for 2020. Hoping to see everybody there. Thanks, Graham. And we also, have an ambassador, so the vehicles are safe. We have an ambassador on duty on the night, so the vehicles are safe in the area.
Yeah, thank you for that, Heather. All right, guys, I hope you got your pens and papers. There's some relevant phone numbers I'm going to give out tonight. And as Heather said last night, while we were kind of voice messaging each other back and forth up until midnight last night, was, guys, get more involved in your private security companies. If you're with Blue Security or ADT or Chubb, liaise with them. If you've got a problem, if you see anything suspicious happening around your area, don't just pick up the phone and phone Heather, okay? Get hold of your private security company. They're there. They get paid every month by you guys to do this kind of stuff. They're the extra eyes and ears out there extending from the police force, all right? So, kind of interact with your private security companies, your local police station. Mine is the Freo Police Station and Bilo Police Station down the road. Now, Heather's number, I did check with Heather. She said, look, give this number out. If you guys need to get hold of Heather for anything, her telephone number is 074 203 2792. I will repeat that, 074 203 2792. If you need to get hold of the South African police, it's 10111, okay? And Heather did mention that if there is something that is that you phoned them about, be it suspicious kind of action around your place, or something is not untoward, get a reference number from them. It's very important that when you report a case to the SAPS, make sure that you get a reference number so that Heather can follow up if nothing happens, if you don't get a call back from the police. Okay, so that's very important. Metro Police Call Center, 031 361 0000. I'll repeat that, 031 361 0000. And once again, make sure when you make that call to get a reference number, okay? And just keep it somewhere safe so that if you need to go back on this call, you can at least quote them a reference number. Or when you get hold of Heather, give her that reference number. Metro Police also takes care of fire and rescue as well. So God forbid if your house catches alight or you need to be rescued, get hold of Metro Police on that number I gave you, 031 361 0000. And please, guys, get a reference number. Work in conjunction with your local security companies. And as a last resort, Heather works so awfully hard. She does this all voluntarily. And, you can help her out here, guys. She's a great lady. Known her for a long time. So, Heather, this show is all about you tonight. Now, finally, before I sign off and say nighty-night, let's get some interactiveness going on this station of mine, this radio station of mine. I call it a radio station. It's on YouTube. Go Graham Robjant, YouTube. You'll find me. Go Facebook, Graham Robjant. Look at the pic where I'm wearing a pirate's hat and a beard. There's another pic out there of me wearing a red shirt. That's irrelevant. Leave that one alone, okay? So pirate's hat and beard, that's me. Send me a friend request and I will accept and we will take it from there. My WhatsApp number, guys, for those voice messages. Now take this down as well, very important. 0799 426 973. That's my WhatsApp number. If you guys want to send some voice messages through that I can air on the show tomorrow night, please, by all means, keep them coming. And as I say, this station of ours will grow. Once I get onto the FM band, hopefully that will happen, our community radio station, local one here in Durban. It will make a world of difference. That WhatsApp number, once again, 0799 426 973. And on that note, thank you so much for listening. Heather, thank you so much. Guys, for following me, you take care. Good night and catch you tomorrow.